So do you also want to extract the details from the agreements? Then this video is definitely for you. So hello all, welcome back to Pabbly Connect, and in this video we are going to understand how to use an AI agent for fast contract clause extraction and review automation. So like you, I also used to extract the details from the agreements manually, but this is such a time consuming and a tedious task. So to solve this problem, I've simply created this amazing automation where what is going to happen is that whenever I add a new file in my Google Drive, which is my agreement, automatically my AI agent is going to extract the details from this agreement and add them into my spreadsheet. So to do this, we are simply going to create a connection between Google Drive, my AI agent, which is OpenAI, and Google Sheets. And to create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation software. So if you also want to create this amazing automation for your own business, then for that you have to come with me towards my screen. Welcome to my screen. So in this video, I'll show you how to use an AI agent to quickly extract the key clauses from the contracts and automate the review process. This workflow identifies the important sections like the payment terms and the liabilities and the termination clauses and organize them into a structured and a clear format in spreadsheet. It is perfect for legal teams, compliance officers, or anyone managing high volume of agreements. So let's dive in and simplify the contract analysis with the help of an AI agent and Pabbly Connect. So to do this, I'm simply going to open a new tab and I'm just going to look for the landing page of Pabbly Connect simply by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser. And now it is opening the landing page of Pabbly Connect, and over here we're going to get two options. One is sign in and the another one is sign up for free. So if you are a new user, you can click on this sign up for free and you're going to get 100 of tasks free every month to explore the application. But over here, I am an existing user, so I'm simply going to click on this button which says sign in. And once we're going to click on this sign in, it is opening all Pabbly apps. And over here, you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's video, we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications. So I'm simply going to click on this access now right over here to access my Pabbly Connects account. And once we're going to click on this access now, it is opening my dashboard. And to get started with this automation, what we have to do is we simply have to click on this blue button right over here which says create workflow, and now it is asking me for the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So over here I want to save my workflow in this folder which says automations, and on my dashboard you can see multiple folders which I've already created in which I save my workflows. So if you also want to create a new folder or a subfolder, you can directly go towards this create a new folder button, enter the folder name, select the parent folder and create your own. I've already created multiple, so I'm just going to save my workflow in one of these only, which is automations, and I'm just going to name my workflow as AI agent for contract clause extraction and review automation. And then we are simply going to click on this button right over here which says create. And once we're going to click on this create, it is opening the most important window of our automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. Trigger and actions are the two main principles on which our workflow is going to run. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So by this you can understand that the actions are response towards the commands given by our trigger, and that's the particular reason that we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of our trigger in a particular workflow. And to get started, I'm simply going to select my trigger application right over here. So I'm just going to search for my trigger application which is Google Drive and select it. And now we're going to move on further. I'm just going to select my trigger event. So for my trigger event, I'm simply going to select it as new file in a specific folder and click on this button right over here which says connect. And now it is asking me to add a new connection or select an existing connection. So if you have already connected your Google Drive account with your Pabbly Connect's workflow, you can simply click on this select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me, click on add a new connection, and now we have to click on this blue button which says sign in with Google. And once we're going to click on this blue button, Pabbly is asking me to select my Gmail account. So I'm simply going to select my Gmail account right over here, with the help of which I'm just going to connect my Google Drive. And now Pabbly is asking me for some permission, so I'm just going to click on this allow allow and give Pabbly all the permissions it is asking for, because my data is secure with Pabbly. And once we are going to click on this allow, with this we have successfully created a connection between our Google Drive and our Pabbly Connects workflow. And now we're going to move on further. Now I'm just going to select the folder or the subfolder right over here. So as you can see, the name of my folder is client agreement. So I'm simply going to select the same folder right over here, which is client agreements. But before selecting this folder, you have to keep in mind that the folder which you're selecting should be a shareable one. So what do I mean by a shareable one? So a shareable folder means that you have to go towards this folder name, share, and once again towards this share. And over here for the general access, it should be anyone with the link and editor. So you have to keep in mind that you have to give the general access as anyone with the link and editor right over here. Otherwise, your AI agent will not be able to read the document. So as you can see that I've already made this anyone with the link and the editor right over here. So I have successfully made my folder a shareable one, so I can select it right over here. And after selecting this folder, we are simply going to click on this blue button which says save and send as request. And as soon as we're going to click on this button, automatically Pabbly is going to capture the last response submitted in my Google Drive account, because Google Drive is a pooling based application. So pooling based application means that this application will not check for new data instantly. It is going to take some amount of time to check for the new data. And over here in the case of Google Drive, it is saying the trigger will check for new data in 10 minutes. So once I'm just going to click on the save and send test request, Pabbly is going to capture the latest submission made in this Google Drive folder. So first we're going to do the test submission, and then only we're going to click on this save and send test request. So to do this test submission, I'm simply going to add my file right over here. For that, I'm just going to go towards this new and then file upload. And now from here, we are just going to go towards this downloads, and I'm just going to simply add this agreement right over here in this folder. So as you can see, I've successfully uploaded this agreement right over here. And as you can see that this is the agreement which I have uploaded. So now I'm simply going to click on the save and send test request button right over here so that Pabbly can capture the response of the same agreement. So as you can see that Pabbly has captured the response of the same agreement, and over here you can see all the details of that same agreement. And now what I want is I'm just going to extract the details from this agreement. So with this, we have successfully completed our trigger step. And now whenever I'm just going to add a new file in this specific folder, within 10 minutes the workflow is going to get triggered. So if you also want to reduce or increase this time, you can go towards this set trigger time by going towards this three dots and then set trigger time. And now from here you can increase the time or reduce the time. I'm just going to keep it as 10 minutes only and move on further. And now I'm just going to use AI agent for contract clause extraction. So what we're going to do is I'm simply going to add a new action application right over here. And now for the action application, I'm simply going to select it as OpenAI. So I'm just going to search for OpenAI and select it right over here. And now for the action event, I'm simply going to select it as extract content from PDF/image and click on this connect. And once we're going to click on this connect, it is asking me to add a new connection or select an existing connection. So if you have already connected your OpenAI account with the Pabbly Connects workflow, you can simply click on this select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me, click on add a new connection, and now it is asking me for the token. And to get this token, we are simply going to follow the help text, and it is saying kindly visit your OpenAI API key page to get the API key which you need to enter here. So I'm simply going to go towards my OpenAI API key page to get the API key. And once we're going to come over here towards this page, we are simply going to click on this green button which says create new secret key. Now it is asking me for the key name, so I'm simply going to enter my key name right over here. Now it is asking me to select the project, so I'm simply going to select my project too. And after doing this, I'm simply going to click on this green button which says create secret key. And once we're going to create this secret key over here, you can see that this is my key. So I'm simply going to copy this key and then we're going to paste it right over here in our workflow. Now after pasting this key, I'm simply going to click on this blue button which says save. And with this, we have successfully connected our OpenAI account with our Pabbly Connects workflow. Now it is asking me to select the OpenAI model, so I'm simply going to select it as GPT-4o mini. You can select any another of your choice. Now we're going to move on further. It is asking me to select the image/PDF URL, so I'm simply going to enter this PDF URL, which is the agreement URL right over here. But we're not going to enter this URL manually by typing it like this or by copy pasting it, but instead we're going to map it. So you must be wondering what is mapping. So mapping is a method by Pabbly which means inserting the data from the previous step. And as you know, our previous step was the trigger step where we selected Google Drive as our trigger application. So we are simply going to map the details from the response of our trigger application only. And as soon as we're going to map these details, automatically my details will turn dynamic and change with every new response received. So I'm simply going to map this PDF URL. Now we're going to move on forward towards this prompt. So over here, I'm just going to enter my prompt. So I'm just going to extract the details with the help of this structured output. So I'm just going to give a simple prompt right over here, which is extract extract me the details from the given PDF. So I'm just going to enter this prompt right over here. So as you can see, they've successfully entered my prompt, which is extract me the details from given PDF. And now I'm just going to extract the details with the help of this structured output. So to enter the structured output, we first have to generate a JSON schema, and then with the help of that JSON schema, we're going to extract the details. So what we're going to do is, to generate this JSON schema, we don't require any programming or coding language. What we have to do is, we simply have to follow this important notes, and it is saying to generate the structured output JSON, navigate to this URL. So I'm simply going to go towards this URL right over here. And now after opening this, we simply have to click on this button which says generate, and now it is asking me to enter the prompt in order to generate a JSON schema. So I'm simply going to enter my prompt right over here. So to enter my prompt, I'm just going to open my notepad, and now over here, what are the details which I want to extract? It's the client name, vendor name, contract duration, and the rest of the details. So what we're going to do is, I'm simply going to enter all of these details one by one right over here. So we're just going to start with the client name. So if I want to extract the client name, I'm simply going to enter client name right over here, and as you can see that this is the first detail which I want to extract, which is client name. And now I'm just going to move on towards a new line, and over here I'm just going to enter the format in which I want to extract this. So this will be type of a short text. So I'm just going to enter type of a short text right over here. Now we're going to move on further. I'm just going to enter the description of the same, which is extract and provide the legal name of the client stated in the contract. So like I did this for client name, I'm just going to do it for all the rest too. So I'm just going to move on towards a new line. I'm just going to take out the detail which is vendor name. So I'm just going to enter vendor name right over here, and now I'm just going to enter the format and then the description. And now like this, I'm just going to do it for all the rest. And as you can see, they've simply entered my prompt for all of the details which I want to extract. And now I'm just going to simply copy this prompt, and then I'm just going to open my structured output, and I'm just going to go towards the generate and paste that prompt right over here. And after that, we are simply going to click on this green button which says create. And once we're going to click on this create, automatically my AI agent is going to generate me the JSON schema without knowing even a single line of programming or coding language. And as you can see, the JSON schema has been generated. So I'm simply going to copy this JSON schema, and then we're going to paste it right over here in our structured output field. And after pasting this, we are simply going to move on further and click on this blue button which says save and send as request. And now what is going to happen is, automatically now my AI agent is going to extract the details which I wanted from this document. So we're just going to wait for a few seconds till my AI agent is doing the same. And as you can see that my AI agent has successfully extracted me all the details. And now I'm just going to add these details into a Google Sheets. For that, I'm just going to add another action step, and now for the action application, I'm simply going to select it as Google Sheets. So I'm just going to search for Google Sheets and select it. And now for the action event, I'm simply going to select it as add a new row and click on this connect. And now it is asking me to add a new connection or select an existing connection. So if you have already connected your Google Sheets account with the Pabbly Connect's workflow, you can simply click on this select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me, click on add a new connection, and now we have to click on this blue button which says sign in with Google. And once we're going to click on this blue button, Pabbly is asking me to select my Gmail account, with the help of which I'm just going to connect my Google Sheets. So I'm simply going to select my Gmail account right over here, with the help of which I'm just going to connect my Google Sheets. And once again, Pabbly is asking me for some permissions. So I'm simply going to click on this allow and give Pabbly all the permissions it is asking for, because my data is secure with Pabbly. And once we're going to click on this allow, with this we have successfully connected our Google Sheets account with our Pabbly Connect's workflow. Now it is asking me to select the spreadsheet. So as you can see, the name of my spreadsheet is this. So I'm just going to select the same right over here. We're going to move on forward. I'm just going to select the sheet 2. Now we're just going to move on forward and enter all of these details one by one. Alright, so one by one, I'm just going to map all of these details. First, I'm simply going to map the client name. Then we're going to move on further. I'm just going to map the vendor name. Then we're going to move on further. I'm just going to map the contract duration right over here. I'm just going to map the total value of the contract. I'm just going to map the payment terms right over here. We're going to move on forward. I'm just going to map the rest of the details, which is the confidential period. I'm just going to move on forward. I'm just going to map the rest of the details one by one. And after mapping all of these details, we are simply going to click on this blue button which says save and send as request. With this, we have received a positive response that we have successfully added these details into our spreadsheet. So I'm just going to open my spreadsheet, and as you can see, these details have been added right over here in my spreadsheet. You can see the client name, vendor name, contract duration, the total contract value, the payment terms, and the rest of the details. So yes, yes, with this, we have successfully completed our workflow. And now whenever a new file is going to be uploaded in this specific folder, which is client agreements, automatically within 10 minutes, the workflow is going to get triggered. My AI agent is going to extract the content from the same agreement and add that contract details into this spreadsheet. All of this is going to happen in backend. We don't have to come back and again to our workflow to click on save and send test request. So yes, with this, we have successfully completed this video and this workflow too. Now go try this amazing automation for your own business, because right now we are offering a free trial of Pabbly Connect. And while trying, if you have any questions related to the video or the workflow, you can directly comment on this video. See you in the next video with many more automation tips, everyone. Thank you for watching. So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can connect many more applications. So now if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this URL. And now go try this amazing automation for your own business too, because right now we are offering a free trial of Pabbly Connect.